cut out on us at the end of the last one, I think, but we got the upload. So that's good. And I think, yeah, it definitely doesn't work with the dot in the name. So now we need to, let's see. I need to go roll the keys again because I did try it with the dot. Does this still end up? Okay. Successful upload. Okay. Okay. So okay. Okay, so we get a successful upload. Now let's turn this thing into a source. So, oh man, I don't like this. Okay, what is this Boto3 thing? Async IO. Async IO. Async IO. Okay. Looks like maybe. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so Boto3 session. Things like Boto3 session, session client. Okay, this looks like a pretty literal translation. Wait, that's through bucket. Okay. I like this. Okay, let's play with it. Import sync IO. Okay. 3. Okay. And so where are they configuring the access? Okay, yes, but where is the, okay, the docs. Session client. Okay, so with session client. Okay, so this client. So we'll just do async 4. Space name, space. And then we'll call this put object. So wait. Okay. Let's list buckets. Wait, list buckets. Okay. So that actually ends up being the same. Okay, and then here's the client. Buckets. Okay. All right, so let's go install this and run it. Let's see if it likes us. All right. I think it likes us. Or wait, no. All right, okay, I think it likes us. So then we convert it to async IO. Okay. And actually, this is a new video, so technically a new engineering log, not video, because these won't always be videos. Eventually, they'll be I think we'll be able to have. What are we at? 32. We'll just call it 30. Or where? How long have we been going? Okay, 7 minutes. We'll call it 20. Okay, so convert existing upload POC to async IO. Find async IO. Boto3 calls. It's a separate library, and it's called this. Okay, so all right, so here's the async IO version. See if it works. It does. Okay, great. So we converted it to async IO, and then we run it. It looks good. Just make sure that this is what I think it is. So I'm going to repopulate from the stuff that we pasted up there just to confirm that this works. All right, looks good. So now let's turn this into a source. All right, so we'll call this, ooh, upload. Okay, so AIO Boto3 source. Okay, so let's read documents. Okay, no, you have file sources in here, so let's curl it down. So let's see, what do we want? So source, what would be a good one to derive from? Memory? Yeah, sure. All right. So we'll say source for storing, retrieving data. That's 3. So now, of course, to do this, okay. And then we'll convert it system context as class style like we're doing everything else later. Okay. I don't like what we're doing here, but we're gonna do that. We're not supposed to do this import style thing. Okay, so it's against the general guidelines. Okay, so actually, let's see. So okay, so where's aInter? So on aInter, we will async def aInter. So when the aInter method is called on the double context entry to this class, so articles double context entry. So we now begin to creating a source based off memory source and to save record data in JSON file. So we'll change all this later once it's stateful, then it can be whatever. So this is file name. Okay. So let's find and replace memory. Boto3. Okay. Okay, so so this thing uploads a record to S3 style storage, and it does that by on aInter. It establishes a session. system.client. So we create the client on entry and on exit. And then on a exit, oh, we have to return self on entry. Okay. Close the client. And we do it in the reverse order. Okay, so update records. Okay, so records does nothing. Record also does nothing. Okay, and then here we do the put in the update. JSON.dumps export. I want to put export from diff as well. And we will say okay. And let's do self.parent.config.bucket. So now we go through and we make everything variables. Let's do key based all of these properties based off inputs to an operation. Okay, so now we just go through and define variables for everything. Okay. Level for to access. Okay. So the options are private or publicly. Okay. Default. It's private. Okay, so the bucket is required. The key is the record key. Um, so self.session. Okay. Here. Okay. All right, so all right, there we go. So now we take everything from the, okay, so all right, so now I'm just filling out the fields. Okay, so region name and then bucket. The ACL will default to private, but everything else needs to be set. Okay. Point at the Boto3 docs. Actually, we'll point at the regular Boto3 docs. Or no, we'll point, why would we do that? So, no, okay, so this should be self.parent.client put object. Okay, self-config parent ACL, we dump the record, and then we need to we need to do what on the record key? We need to make it a valid file name. So base 64, I don't like base 64 coding things. How did we do it last time? How does the JSON source do it? Or how did the JSON source used to do it? Oh, on the wrong machine. Okay, so file source. We have, we have source. Maybe that was even older than this. I had something that would take a URL and make it into a file name. How do we do only advertising? Okay. It's a string ASCII letters. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna say record key dot join char character for all right, so character for character in record key lower if character in string ASCII lowercase. Okay, so that should say, you know, create me a new string. So join this array, and the array is going to be made of looping over every character that is lower. We're going to convert the whole key to lowercase, which will be the repo URL, and only dump out the ones that are, okay, and then we'll say plus .json. So let's try it out here. So let's do import default.sync. Wait, or let's see. Default.sync.save. And let's create the source. The ACL is public read. Right, so we're going to save to this source the other stuff that we just had. Or save a record where the key is https github.com/pdxjohnny/http-test and data is features test or hello world. All right, so that should okay, no module found, maybe if so where's else? Okay, yeah, we're gonna need Alice. Okay, so let's go through the contributing docs. So this is how we spin up Alice. So we clone repo. Takes a little while. There's some stuff in there we need to clean up. So PDF files that shouldn't have been there. And then we'll go into the repo. All right, we go in there. We don't have Alice installed already, so all right, so we install all the packages, and then let's run these commands to make sure that they work. So it installs them all with the development dependencies for Alice because we selected with the brackets dev. And that happens here. Right. So now we're going to run that command, see if that works. Okay, looks like that's good. And then let's go ahead and the diagram, just make sure that works. Okay, that looks good too. Great. So now let's see. So what do we want to do? Okay, so we want to add, oh, wait a minute. 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 We might not need this source. What is the output of that? Why is it doing that? Oh, because it's trying to run the Python file. Oh. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so yeah, I was just trying to source that file. Okay, there should be a star sh on there. All right, so All right, okay, so let's look at the flow real quick, actually. Yeah, so what is the output here? Is it an output operation? It is an output operation. So we should be able to grab the output of the output operation and just throw it in the database, shouldn't we? I see no reason why not. And we should be able to do it as an overlay. So what do we need to do that? So we would say, give me the output of get output. And then just post that data. Okay, that's actually very straightforward. Okay, so we may not even use this source code that we just wrote. Okay, so let's do okay, so all right, so let's do Alice, please contribute. Recommended community standards. CLI. Let's see what's in here. So, oh wait, Alice. Let's just do Alice CLI. What's in here? So, recommended community standards and what happens when you run this? Oh, so let's please contribute though. This is collector data flow. Alice collects data flow from BIM operations inner source. Operations. Now we're CLI. Okay, so group by. Okay, so group by. So if we take group by, the output of group by as a input, as an output operation, and overlay it onto collector flow, we should be ready to go. So overlay it onto collector flow. Okay, so we're going to run through our contributing documentation here. And we're going to say, okay, so writing operations. All right, so we're going to write a new operation here within the Alice code. Entities, Alice. And actually, we need to copy that code. So CP, so this upload static contents to space. So we're going to go copy that async IO code that we wrote that we liked. Not the source code that we just wrote, the source abstraction, that is. And we're going to go to entities, Alice. Or no, okay, so this is more of, this is really, this is more of like deployment. Right, so this is like overlays at the top level, quite honestly, I think. Okay, dir-p overlays, Alice. Should I contribute? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so results. Okay, so let's, and then then this, so basically we're going to edit a file and overlays Alice, dfml root of the repo, overlays Alice, should I contribute? And the file name will be upload collector output to bucket.py. And then we'll paste in the code. And instead of a main, this becomes a, okay, so instead of main, this becomes upload to bucket. And it's a dfml.op. Let's read in actually the dfml examples. Should I Python PyPy operations, right? So this is the, so this is this tutorial, the metastatic analysis tutorial here. That's what we're referencing right now. And we're looking at the PyPy operations section. So this is what we just grabbed here. Okay, realize we could do this as an operation. This is called, okay, so. Okay. So on impinter, okay, so here's part of what's going to happen here. So okay, so there's no outputs on this. So the inputs will be the so dfml operation output, the group by spec, so, or the group by output. So we can just say results is dfml group by output, and then this will be triggered anytime there are, so then anytime the get output operation is run, this will be run. So stage equals dfml.stage.output. It's also an output operation, so it's going to be running the output stage. And now this is kind of the little funky part here where we're going to simplify the, effectively what we do here is we take this client creation and we go ahead and just move it to a little helper function, context lib. So we use context lib.async context manager the decorator async def create connection to bucket, or create bucket client. Connect bucket client. Right, so this thing, okay, so we will use part of that source, read dfml entities, or let's see, no, entities Alice. So we will use the config from that source, and we will use this little number here. Okay, so here's Boto3 config. All right, so here, this is the so we create this is just a data class with a little more metadata, right? You see the help text here. And so we create this Boto3 client, so this is config, so this can take the Boto3 config, and then it can say, it can yield the client. Okay, so client initialization. Okay, so then we need to rename these. Let's see. Well, we can use that variable renaming that we did there as well. See, and this avoids that whole ugliness that we just saw with the, so take a look at the, so take a look at these side by side, right? And so one of these is a lot cleaner than the other one. Oops. And it's the right one. And this is not as clean as it's going to get. It's going to get even cleaner than this. Yeah, it's going to get even cleaner once we have the proper type hinting. So it would be just, actually, yeah. Deal with stage. There's a way for it to be clean. Okay, so inputs is taken care of. So if you see a type hint on self, assume it's this upload to bucket or stage equals stage output. Okay, and then imp enter, that's a little tougher. So client is then That's clean. I like that. Okay. So we're playing with the API. Remember, we're just trying to, the methodology is, it's just a methodology. Alice, the open architecture is just a methodology, right? All we're trying to do with the FFML is make it very user-friendly to follow that methodology, right? So, okay, so, and we work in Python a lot. So this is where we're trying to make this as native Python as possible. So basically, there's no difference between doing this with the orchestration or without the orchestration. Okay, so config, so now let's drop the self, right? Because we want to focus on grabbing stuff that already exists, right? So if we can make the orchestration as lightweight as possible, because we don't want to be a framework, right? We have I said framework earlier because we have within, that's our internal API effectively, but we want the external API to be basically like nothingness, just regular Python code, right? So is DFFML used in here anymore? Okay, group by output is used. Okay, config is used. Okay, but those are basically data class wrappers. So all of that can be, the same thing can be done with the standard data class APIs with just like a couple more lines to add this as help text to the metadata, which is obviously not required. So, but we're trying to encourage it by making it the mandatory first argument. So self.parent, okay, so self.client. Okay, so in this case, in the case where we have an op-amp that's a function that's being wrapped like this, yeah, we should probably assume self is parent, because that makes this actually make sense. That actually makes sense. Does that actually make sense? Does that run without the orchestration? Is the question, right? So my leg fell asleep. Okay, so does that run without the orchestration? So upload to bucket config, upload to bucket config stage. Okay, so basically if we instantiate that upload to bucket object and passed it to the upload to bucket function, the upload to bucket function would take that and it would be happy. It would be a happy camper. So let's see. So, and that means we can throw that method directly on there. All right, so let's treat this. Okay, so let's play with this. So let's throw that method directly on there so that it's a standard class. Okay. Great. Okay, so that looks reasonable, right? So this is a data class. Right, so far so good. We're playing with the API, right? So stage output, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so, and remember this is an overlay. So, and we could overlay on top of this. So we might say, I like that. Okay, come on. So, but you're gonna be getting group by output here. So what is that? So this is where I think the stage comes in. I think the stage, so this is the to-do that we talked about this the other day. So this is our rolling stages. Rolling stages comes in here. Right. And so this is where we talked about, hey, you know, I want to basically be n plus one, right? That's output, that's cleanup, right? So n plus two is cleanup, n plus one is output if you're in processing at n, right? And so, but you're just rolling and you keep going, right? So it's like, you know, the next, I think the next scheduled conscious, so you can schedule, so between, okay, so if you go, okay, so basically you're constantly rolling uh, your the control loop in your brain, in Alice's brain, in the orchestrator. Basically, in the orchestrator is just the way that we're implementing it. It's our playground, right? And then you can snapshot anything and represent it in this. So you basically you have subconscious and conscious states, right? And so you can jump the yeah, there's different triggers for going in and out of the subconscious and conscious states, right? And so basically what we can do is we can say a subconscious state is effectively something that will run within the next tick-tock, right? For that relative time slice, right? Which within the state of the art, like within the near field to the state of the art train of thought or the state of consciousness that you're in, right? Because remember, it's time spent in field determines the speed of time in that field. So, uh, so basically, yeah, when you do this rolling stage thing, it basically says, hey, consider me for execution next, you know, and that border is where we can do things like collect all the outputs for the list and stuff, because it's sort of like it's a defined transition between it's a context switch. It's a context switch. Okay, that's a context switch. Okay, yeah. So when the stage rolls over, that's really a context switch. So maybe we should call this, everything's called context, stage is fine. Okay, there's too many usages of the word context. Okay, so let's play with the API. So config, upload to bucket config, upload to bucket config. All right, checks out. Okay, so the client. Okay, so by default, the client is so this is a problem. So the output thing basically there's a reference for this, but I can't remember where it is. I think we talked about it in a video a while back. An engineering log. That's why I just wrote that. It's an engineering log. Okay, so stage. Okay, so what did we decide about the stage thing? I don't like this. I don't like this the way it looks right now. It's not right. So it's just not, there's something that's not right about it. So the AIOHTTP client session needs to be entered already. So, and what is this? This is actually the session. And this is not coming from here. So wait a minute. So this is the connect to S3 bucket. So this is config Okay. So, oh no, this is good. This is good. Okay. Okay, this is good. Okay. So we're seeing something here. So we're seeing something interesting, which is why this is getting awkward. So what we're seeing is that uh, the impinter is actually something that should be defined, yeah, as an input to this thing. So this upload to bucket. Okay, this is why I keep doing this, and I'm not supposed to be doing this. Okay. Okay. So keep forgetting. Um, it's just because we have to think differently now, right? And it's like it's all confusing. It's not like you usually think with programming. So okay, so this connect bucket client. So it yields bucket client. Okay, so if it yields the bucket client, okay, just yield the bucket client for me and take a config. Fuck it, don't take the config. You know what? Take them all directly. Yeah, just take it directly. No config. What do you produce? Why, you produce a bucket client. Of course, no, just kidding. You produce a very specific object, which is the we're going to need that contributing docs here. I'm determined. All right, wait, oh, thank you. The link is right here. Thank you. Oh, and I'm on it. Okay. What is this object called, please? Where's the what is it called? Client session. Where's the session object? Okay. I don't know if you have API docs. You don't have API docs. Okay, client. Okay, I'm just gonna go on the source project home session. Resource. Ooh, hey, look at that. Some context entry going on. Okay, so maybe perhaps even double context. Okay, so resource is not what we want. We want the other thing. Boto3 session. Where's this going from? It's extending. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Oh. Does that mean client? Okay. Boto3. Okay. Does this have its own docs, please? Thank you. session. Okay. Client. Boto3 session. Client. Okay, create client. Self session. What is session? Boto core get session. Motherfucker. Oh my god. Okay. Let's go to Boto core. We're just so client creator, create client, service client, create client class, create client class. So it creates an entirely new class. Okay, so this was pointless. So bases AL base client. AL Boto core dot client. You know what? We found it. So fuck it. At least we got it. Figured out what the correct type should be. All right, okay, so new type. Okay, so this is the AIO Boto3 client type. And this thing is of type AIO base client. That's what it actually is. This is actually a perfect example. So we're creating a new type. This is what the underlying type is. The library doesn't tell us, but we had to look it up. There's no type stubs. Maybe there are. I don't know. And so it is this variable here, or it is this type name here. And so now we can say connect bucket client, and it should produce us this object here, right? So then we can say AIO Boto3 client, and then we give it that, and then the group by. Holy shit, that's so easy. Oh my god, that is so clean. Look at that. Oh my god. Where's that file? This is what it should look like. Okay. This is what it should look like. I think we have to install this specific version. Who knows how click got messed up, but we're reinstalling it. Okay. Okay, we need to roll back click actually. So if you do equals and Naki show me this, you can, okay, so let's roll it back to like 7.0 or 7. Last 7. All right, okay. Yeah, so something API breaking there. Okay, so all right, so these just need commas. And then yeah, so then this just becomes the regular doc string stuff, which we already have parsers for. So we have parsers for, okay, so we have parsers for NumPy style doc strings to config classes, which can help us get the what was previously help field messages argument. So double red. Okay. So connect to an S3 bucket. So now there's a couple things that are missing here. So we'll say I think there is. And see, I don't like this because the type information is 2 places now with this. So I don't think this NumPy style docstring is a good way to go long term. I think that there needs to be some sort of evolution off this without the type information, because the type information is now stored within the so we'll want something lighter weight, I think, long term. All right, to do. Okay, so what else is missing here? So the yield. So the yield right now, so what we would do if we were gonna, so what we should do if we were going to finish this out right now, but I think I'm done for the night here. So, wait, let's see, self-config bucket. Wait a minute, where's that? Okay, so wait, bucket. Bucket just comes from here. This is just ACL. And this is just results. For a string. The so how would we could say, okay, so connect. Okay, so and we're using it like we would anything else, which means that this would be a context lib dot async context manager, right? Because we don't want to change anything. So mhm, mhm, mhm. And this is what is this? This is the what is this? So should I contribute? Okay. Okay. Yes. Let's collector data flow. The keys are being provided on the command line. And what are they auto def to? Or record def to? So what are they record def to? Operations. So they're record def to the URL. So let's grab the URL. Okay. Okay. So we connect to the bucket. We upload to the bucket. This seems reasonable. So now let's write our unit tests, which are our dot tests. Okay, can you stop doing that, Vim? just disabling the auto formatting there. It's, so that doesn't happen when it throws us off. Okay, so async with client. Okay, so connect to an S3 bucket. This is gonna be so fucking clean when it's done. This is the dream. Everything is unit tested in its example, in the function, in the file. This is the dream. And then there's no other code because it's all in the orchestrator. Or in whatever other glue code that you write, right? But the glue code is all in the examples, so you could piece it together without the orchestrator by literally just copy pasting the examples. So if it turns out you don't want to use a specific orchestrator for any reason, you can always switch to another orchestrator because everything understands the format or the methodology and the protocols involved that are commonly used. And if you don't like it, you can copy paste. So, all right, okay, I think we're good. So, okay, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. This looks good. All right. And we'll instrument everything else automatically by doing all these scans. So we're going to run all these scans, and then we're going to map the models. We're going to build intermediate representations of all the programs. We're going to map it to the models. We're going to map it to the threat models. And then we're going to build this machine human mapping of intent, and we're going to apply it to different code based on this cross-domain conceptual mapping. Then we're going to apply it to all this other stuff. It's going to be great. So this is where we start with connect bucket clients. So, okay, so we started a long time ago. So async with connect bucket client. All right, so let's throw in some of these. Okay. Okay, so what do we need? We need, that's right. We need a fake S3 bucket. Okay, so who are those people? Min.io? Is that them? You can connect any S3 compatible tool, such as the Min.io command line. Okay. So yeah, I believe this is what we want. So Podman. Do we have Podman? We have Docker. What's going on up here? Oh, this is where our, what even is this? This is DigitalOcean Spaces API. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. So we'll name this Spaces API keys. Threads. By. All right, and then we'll break paint on these. So we do so Control B, break pane, and then what are we doing now? So this is optimal DX, optimal DX. That's what we're shooting for here. so, and I can't spell that. So we'll call this bucket client. All right, okay. So we run min.io. Okay, so there is what it looks like when you run it with Docker. Okay, there's what it looks like when you run it with Docker. This is great. I'm loving this. Okay, I'm loving the way this is working out right now. This is fucking, this is just, I'm loving this. Okay. 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 Okay, so gonna do that. And you know, we already have some Docker stuff for MySQL stuff, but right now, I think we can use the read line. Yeah, we'll use read line. Yeah, we'll use read line. Okay. When was the last time we used read line? Okay, so we can just go to, well. Okay, so subprocess. So run command events. I'll take those two. Thank you very much. Okay, so okay, so async def. Okay, look what am I doing right now? I'm automating the spin up of the S3 bucket, and then we're going to shoot the other thing at it. So how do we create a user? We need to know if we can create a user first. Deployment recommendations, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we're just going to blow up that AWS access key ID and AWS secret key ID, and I bet it'll just take the data. Wait, let's look at their client quick start. Okay, that looks like example. EIC endpoint, EIC secret key. Okay, so client deployment. Okay, gateway server. Docker quick start. Okay. Root user, root password. Okay, well, great. All right, well, that'll do it then. Can we have it randomly generate, please? No? Okay. So root password file. Okay, so I think we should probably pass them in. Yeah, we shouldn't be passing them in as environment variables. Actually, that's a really good point. That would be bad. Um, so let's pass them in as files because or else you see them. It is potential to see them. So with files, we have Unix access control. So where are our so root user file, root password file. Okay, Paul secrets. Okay, so and also support absolute pass. Okay, so basically put these wherever you want. Okay, so secret. Okay, so I think we can just write to those files on a volume. Okay, so with tempter dot temporary directory as tempter, or sorry, temp file. Okay. Okay. Okay, how do we have you randomly generate a port, please? Or wait, no, you're, boo. Oh, oh wait, are you already giving us the Docker address? Thank God, you rock. Okay. Oh, 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 these people are the best. Okay, usually with the MySQL stuff, we have to go and grab the IP and inspect the Docker container, and this becomes a pain. But they're printing out the IP address of the container, which we can resolve. And so we can have it, we don't have to port forward if we don't want to. And we don't want to, we never want to port forward in anything like this. It's like ephemeral. Ephemeral, is that the right word? I don't know. I think so. So if send it out to read line and result dot starts with API. Result dot split URL equals result dot split 1. So, oh God, I love these people. You all rock. This is just fantastic. Okay. That saves so much time. Okay, that should be it. That's a solid best practice right there. We should all do that. Okay. All right. So if event in subprocess std read line and result starts with API, split it, grab the URL. All right. So endpoint URL, that's going to produce endpoint URL there. So this is going to be, okay, so we want a Boto3 I'm just going to call it bucket. This is the bucket library. So bucket, no. We'll call it Boto3 endpoint URL. All right, we end up with a lot of types. That is, it is verbose on the types. It would be nice if there was a more shorthand way to define the types like this, or to access them, perhaps. Perhaps we could just have a shorthand way to access them off of the, something like, what is this going to be called? Min.io. Server, right? And so this thing, shit. Why is there a bug in here as soon as the window is open? All right, we're still chugging along. YouTube is working this time. Okay, just keep working YouTube. Okay, because I don't forget this. Okay, so okay, endpoint. We misspelled endpoint. Okay, and this is stir. Okay, so region name, endpoint URL. Okay, this is a tricky one. This is another thing that we looked at. So this is related to the data type conversion and the extraction and the rearranging of properties within different data, like within a different manifests, right? Distinct manifests. And that's what we'll see here, basically two distinct data classes having different properties, and wanting to combine them with, to create different data structures out of those properties. So or could we just return a tuple? That would really save a lot of time. What if we returned a tuple? And we said expand. No, not expand. Something like expand. But, something like, what is this? Like, what's happening here? So you have, let me just write the code first. Okay, so endpoint URL, what's the other one? Region name. Region name. And I think it was doing dots here at one point, but I don't know. I think we'll have to do dots. Yeah, we have to do dots, actually. I think it just breaks something right now, so there's no dots, because I think there's a weird hidden bug. Okay. What's the other one? The access key. Okay, so access key, so access key ID. Wait, no, what? access key, key ID, and access key. It actually worked out. Oh, maybe that's why I did that. Oh yeah, sometimes I do that, I think. I don't know. I did that subconsciously. Okay, so region name, endpoint URL, key ID, access key. All right, there's all our types. So this is the type of shit that this thing needs to return, is what that means, right? And now we have our mystery, our question mark helper annotation that we don't know what it is yet, but it's something kind of like a union or a tuple, maybe, right? Maybe it looks, maybe it's like a tuple. It's like a tuple. Yeah, it's the descendant. It's a derivative of a tuple. It's a derivative of a tuple, but okay, so why don't I like that right now? Because I'm yelling at myself that I don't like that. So because I don't like that if it's a derivative of tuple, then you have to use the type specifically. You need an overlay then to make it into the DFFML annotation. So how do we make it that it's a standard type that we want a standard type? That's a standard type that would be well suited for this. So, but you return a tuple when you return a bunch of stuff, you're going to return a tuple, right? And this is what you're going to do naturally. So when you do that and you have a type annotation on it, then we should look at this tuple and we should say what? Should we apply tuple rules differently? We should. When we're doing the auto definition of the output operations, or when we're doing the auto definition of the outputs on an operation in the op decorator, if we see a tuple, we should not attempt to do the new type conversion, the auto conversion for the new type stuff. Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, just ignore it on the tuple, accept a list as a list, do the auto conversion on the list, because people will usually mean to return lists. They don't sort of mean to return tuples, they just do because it's what you do in Python. And so then the type annotation will end up reflecting that. And how does that affect other languages? So what about, okay, so what if we were doing this for C, right? So you return, you'd return a pointer to a structure or something, a pointer to a piece of memory, you'd probably just take the pointer. So you returned an allocated structure for some reason. Yeah, you could do that, of course. I think the reason why I was saying that you wouldn't want to do that is because you would want to allocate the memory yourself, probably, and then pass it to the thing that initializes, given the memory region. Okay, so, and the bounds check. Okay, so the size of the memory region. Okay, so, but that's beside the point. That's besides the point. Okay, so these types here. Let's just go and do this exercise right now. See where it takes us. Okay, and then we need one for the ACL. All right, okay. So, and there was a weird bug with the output operation, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So hopefully when they had the optional on it, but this doesn't say optional. I think it was just when the annotation is on there, but not when it necessarily has a default. It's what the combination thereof. Okay, so this thing is going to take that from this tuple. Okay, so and why did we care about it being a tuple? Well, because if it's a tuple, okay, so and this is the thing with the type, the type, I don't know what you would call that. You're just mixing and matching, you know, you're just finding all the possible combinations and permutations. Like is it recursively? Probably. I don't know. You're traversing all the trees of possible permutations of the type. Yeah, you're traversing all the possible trees. You build the set of all the possible permutations of all the possible trees of types, and then you prune based on which ones are valid inputs. But I don't have time to do that right now. So this is why I'm leaning towards interpret the tuple, and that'll just be shorthand within the Python syntax. Is that what I said right? I think it is, but I'm not, and now it's gone. So, and this is just, we just want to get to something soon, and that's just not going to happen soon. So this MinIO server says, and this, I also don't know what, you know, what the best solution of this thing is yet. So, you know, shout out if you know. How do you guys capitalize? All caps. Name implies. All caps. All right, okay. MinIO server should start. Okay, yeah, and I also hate that there's so much camel. I hate this as well, but I don't know what to do about it right now. I'm just trying to conform to the Python style. So, okay, MinIO server should start. Okay, yeah, and so what I'm saying I don't know what to do about is this bailout, right? So bailout if not wanted. But otherwise, auto start. Right. So auto start. Okay. So now, and inclusion of this operation within an overlay with the current overlay mechanisms at load time happening in ifmo operations inner source dot features or no dot CLI and Alice.CLI for should I and please contribute. Okay, the inclusion of this operation within an overlay within the is effectively results in the operation getting combined with the rest prior to the first call to autoflow, dataflow.autoflow. I think that's all that needs to be said there. Okay. Okay. And of course, we could take Docker paths, etc. Right? Okay, so what do we want? We want the key ID, the import, the region name, the endpoint URL, access key. So do we need all that shit? What is the minimal amount of shit that we need? All right, so no, I don't have the link. No, I stopped updating this. All right, okay, what's the minimum amount of shit that we need? All right, come on, tell us, please. Okay, so, this one seems to be happy with just this, which I think is kind of bullshit, but because where the hell are you getting your creds from? Oh, the environment variables, that's right. Okay, so it's a good trick. I love that one. Okay, so how it works. Token. Wait. Access key. Alright, so this is not doing it for me. Show me your code. Are we here again? Okay, so these aren't necessarily required. Region name is not none. Okay, so the URL is required, but the other ones aren't necessarily required. Okay, so these ones we will set to none. What is the check here? None. All right, perfect. So we will also allow for them to be none. Okay. That makes things easy. So basically the endpoint URL, please return. Oh, well then fuck yeah. We don't have to do any of this shit. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. All right. Oh my God. Is that really, that is how easy that is. Okay, that's fantastic. Return, or no, we yield, and it kills on exit for us. So at least run command events, I believe, should kill it gracefully. So, I mean, you never know with Docker. You never know with Docker. But run command events should kill it gracefully. Or else maybe it'll just stay around, but we'll find out. So I hope it kills it gracefully. So to do audit, we'll just put security on this so that somebody looks at it. Audit use. No, okay, I won't put security on that. I'm abusing it. I don't want to abuse that. Okay. Audit use of, it's just going to be annoying. That's all it's going to be. Okay, so audit use of, we don't have a logger, so that's an open. We have no logger. Can we pull from stack if we are in div flow? An orchestrator. Okay, and also to do, you know, audit what happens or does this kill the container successfully, aka clean it up. All right, okay, I think that's okay. I think I'm being told it's time to go to bed, but something, I don't know, I feel weird. Okay. All right, this was great. Okay, someone put this on the internet. Quickly, please. Start scans, but this, in my opinion, was better. All right, still on the way. Okay, so this is what? Okay, and what is the convention here? Okay, so we'll just call this, okay, I don't know, I'm gonna go to sleep. So, no time for the naming convention. Okay, so good night.